Another major policy change, undocumented migrants can now be arrested at churches and schools.
Yeah, that guideline had been implemented by the Biden administration, and it created protected areas. KFOX 14 News at 5's Julia Spencer is live downtown with reaction to that change.
Leaders of Homeland Security made some changes, which now allows federal immigration agencies to arrest people within sensitive areas. Now, that includes places here in El Paso, such as Sacred Heart Church, the Opportunity Center for the Homeless, and Annunciation House.
This is ultimately destructive of communities. It puts fear, it puts apprehension in your basic institutional entities. It could also be dangerous.
If you're coming in to sort of look at doing everybody, then there would be some concerns and some questions that would be asked as a result.
On the first day of President Trump in office, 2 directives of Homeland Security went into effect to combat illegal immigration into the United States. The first directive allows ICE and Customs and Border Protection agents to follow enforcement actions within so-called sensitive areas. That includes places like safe schools, churches, and shelters. The second directive ends humanitarian parole, which now limits how migrants enter the U.S. In a statement, Homeland Security says criminals will no longer be able to hide in America's schools and churches to avoid arrest. The Trump administration will not tie the hands of our brave law enforcement and instead trust them to use common sense. And leaders of shelters here in El Paso say this isn't what the Trump administration should be focusing on.
We are an emergency shelter, and we will continue to provide those services that...
Well, it's going to affect every and all communities. That's just simply not something that administration should be focusing on.
Now, I've also reached out to other sensitive areas here in El Paso, including Sacred Heart Church. However, they did not get back to me in time for this report. I'm reporting from downtown El Paso, Julia Spencer, KFOX 14 News at 5.
Julia,